Alright, so I'm gonna get in my ship, and get in the seat, and make sure it doesn't start freezing up on me. It's about the only thing we're worried about right now. Because that actually means something. It indicates where the game is using the other card, and I found it, and I didn't even know where that was. Or, well, maybe not even the game. Windows is actually doing it. Windows is scheduling it and then copying it. And just making another frame, and that frame can go through either card because I have duplication on. So it doesn't matter where the frame ends up. So Windows is just going to take both frames, and then whichever one is more updated from either side, it's going to kick it through the card that's being less worked, because I have that one set up as the output HDMI in Adrenaline, but not necessarily in Windows. Because in Windows I have the card that's, for all intents and purposes, not connected to HDMI, even though they're both connected right now. Because I have it duplicated, it's essentially the one that is not the primary in Windows. It's complicated, there's a lot to it, but it doesn't matter. The point is if it works faster than what they have in Windows, and the game and the driver, it works faster and better than what it's supposed to, then it means they're all trying to do something with arbitrary limits based on older things. Anyway, and one of those older things is intentional. I just don't know who to point a finger at, really.
Exit protocols initiated. Please stand by. Final
So
preparations
in
underway.
theory, this should switch from, where are we at, 1080 to anything lower than that without a memory dump. But then some of these, and it would get better FPS, but because it's not intended to run that way, I have to restart client every time I make my hardware do more than all three of those people combined want it. Well, I would say StarCitizen probably doesn't care and enjoy it, but like AMD and Windows, I don't know how much of that they want to actually work, but it works, and it's good. Especially for StarCitizen, it's good, especially if they're gonna keep trying to multi-thread things. If there's two cards available, you gotta make that swap for a single card player a little more I don't know exactly. Viable, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know. But this is flying and I'm getting perfect. As soon as, I'll show you right here, and this is what does it. As soon as you switch these two in StarCitizen, the way I have it set up, it does not want to doesn't want to take I guess it makes one of the cards too busy to copy the MFD draws and send them over to the other card for making a frame, because they're doing some of that. They're doing some of the screens and the holograms. It's just being done on compute really fast and then sent as a copy on the other card over here. And even if StarCitizen doesn't have that coded yet, I think they are doing kind of stuff like that. But even if they don't, Windows is letting that happen somehow, because both of the cards are duplicated, so it doesn't matter who draws what. And if they can't combine the two together, it's being added at frame generation or something. There's something going on there because you can see it. And you can see it, like, you can get in the seat and it won't work. Nothing will work. It won't work right. And then you can hit the Mobi and everything's fine again. You see the copy in the compute when the Mobi was open, and I'm opening and closing the Mobi. So that means when you're opening, closing Mobis, or you're doing different things, and then it's swapping back to regular render, that process is not as streamlined as it should be for a single card that is supposed to be the requirement for running the game that they released a long time ago. It's it's not streamlined enough. Even for the cards that I have should be able to run this game at least at 720p without all that jittering and all that, garbage. Which I think they fixed that with this update, but there's still some stuff in there that's not streamlined properly. And if their servers are based on this architecture, it would behoove them to go ahead and just fix that all the way from the back, all the way to the front, because it's going to make textures, streaming, all kinds of things that stream through streamlined just on the hardware side of it, which means me picking it up, you can see if my shit is streamlined or not. And I guarantee you mine is more streamlined than yours right now. Look at them lines. I can make that GPU stay with the render thread, and your main thread and your frame are still way the fuck up there all by themselves. That means there's plenty of room for optimization, and look how pretty and clean that is. And we're really playing at 720, okay? But we're using textures and sizes equivalent to 1150, 1162, or 1152p, whatever the hell that is. And we're using that and stretching that to 1800p and putting it on my screen. And I'm using two cards to do it, and they're not conflicting with each other unless Windows asks for something that StarCitizen is asking for on separate cards, and then there would be your conflicts because both of them are duplicated and terminated to the same monitor. So as far as Windows knows, there is only one GPU, or there is only one HDMI cord for both GPUs, and it adds a very very small amount of frame time to uh, maybe render thread or GPU both, but it's equivalent for both. And that's just something I'm willing to live with. To have AFMF lossless frame generated frames on a second card, while my first card can be completely utilized to its utmost. But that also means I can tell when you guys have been blaming other things and saying it's just settings are too high, blah blah blah. Nah, you guys didn't were multi-threaded coding and not having, I don't know, the AMD thing figured out. Well, maybe not you, but I don't know, whoever. Somebody was missing something there. When they when the scheduler is conflicting with the integer floats in Windows, and that translates to problems in your main thread in the game. Let's let's blame AMD, Windows, and the people that make drivers, and not the guy who doesn't understand why you can't run on the newest hardware for 10 years. Yeah, or at least the newest chip hardware. There's a lot of things going on there. Anyway, but this is running really well now, and it looks really good. And it's optimized for my specific two different GPU situation. But I mean, I can still turn up the settings and make it look really good like they want, but I would suffer some kind of game engine frame loss. Um, and I could lower it, maybe get some more out of it, but this is probably the best I can get um, without doing more scaling things like I've been trying. This is like the best quality and speed for my hardware, I suppose. Not counting any of their lack of optimization and server things and whatever they got to do on their end. All right, I'm gonna do one bounty and then just upload this because it's, as you can see, I'm at 100. Well, now I'm at 90, but I was at 120 frames, and I can only use 75 in the buffer because I can only use 75 on the monitor. So as long as it doesn't dip below 75, we're actually perfectly fluid on my end, although the recording might not look fluid, which means that they'd only have to draw 37.5 frames to keep up. Um, if they, and that's the server thing. Um, so, so they're really making lots of performance strides. So they need to fix the elevators, I guess.